It's Ash from SuperVideos back for another live stream. This is a surprise live stream. Hopefully people will be able to join us because it's a surprise stream. No one really knows we're live, or I didn't say that we're gonna go live. So let's see how many of you join us here. We have a couple of you on already. King Ken says yo. And then what happened to my mod? Let me take a quick look here. Okay, your mod is back. Animated Alex, hello to the best YouTuber. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining, Animated Alex and King Ken. Animated Alex, do you think when Walking Dead ends that Fear will end somehow tie in, or Fear's ending will somehow tie in with The Walking Dead? It's very unlikely, because if that were to happen, they would have marketed the hell out of it. You know what I mean? I don't think that's in the plan at the moment. Maybe later on, but it's a little tough because the end is like not right around the corner, but we only have like 16 episodes left. The next 8 episodes are gonna come up pretty quickly, and then I think next year Walking Dead's gonna end, or end of this year even. I don't remember exactly, but I feel like if there was any plan like that, they would have hyped it up a lot more. Or not more, but they would have hyped it up, and they haven't done anything like that. So I doubt it. It would be kind of cool, but kind of underwhelming because it's just so obvious, you know what I mean? I hope they have something more involved, planned for how they're gonna possibly connect everything in terms of the universe. Happy End says hello. Hello, how are you? Glad you could join. Epic Zombie Killer, hey Ash, my opinion, Fear Walking Dead is doomed and it can't be saved, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I would have to agree with you on that. It's just way too late for them to salvage anything out of that show. It's been run through the dirt so many times that there's just no saving it. Epic Zombie Killer, I'm sorry, I'm just not liking where Fear has been headed. Yeah, exactly, same. I think the first... Okay, there's been a few moments in the series that has got me to a point where I just don't care about the show anymore. I've talked about this before. There's been some very questionable writing decisions that's just made the show so... It's just not... It's not satisfying to watch, you know what I mean? Like, yes, that this is the type of show where characters die and things like that happen, but it's just the way that they've handled some of these deaths and some of these stories that has got me as a fan to tune out pretty quickly, you know what I mean? I feel the same way towards the original show, but I feel like the original show is better, obviously, but I think they do a better job of keeping things balanced in terms of stories that don't really, you know, that the audience doesn't really want to see, I would say, but they still do it because they need the story to go towards a different direction or a specific direction. In Fear, it seems like that's all they're doing. Just they're pushing the story towards a direction, and even though it's just it's convenient for them to do that, and they don't really challenge themselves in making it seem realistic, you know what I mean? And obviously some of the decisions with killing the characters the way they did and coming back and things that they've done and they're continuing to do is just I'm totally zoning out of Fear. Honestly, I'm not really that interested in watching the second half of the season, but I will watch just one reaction. No, as you can tell, no Fear videos. Like, if I do a Fear video, it'll be very rare. Like the one we did with Madison, because that was big news. Animated Alex, I just finished watching Breaking Bad. Oh, cool. I watched that a couple months ago. Not a couple, more than a couple months ago. Now it's been 2.5 years, I think. 2 years, something like that. But yeah, awesome show. Animated Alex, what did you think of Daryl being in Commonwealth soldier outfit? I thought it was not shocking. Shocking that they put that in the trailer, but not shocking as something that's gonna happen. It has a lot of potential future setup that I will do on or talk about on a separate video, but I think I'm just disappointed that they put a moment like that in the trailer. But other than that, it makes sense, it's cool, and let's see where it goes. Margot Iconlau, I keep saying this every time you come on. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Says, hi, how are you? Glad you could join. Epic Zombie Killer, hey Ash, are you excited, or how excited are you for the Halo TV series? Honestly, I haven't even, I think it's a game, right? I haven't even played the game, so I'm not the best person to ask about my excitement, because I didn't even know it was a TV show now, and I didn't even play the game, so I hope that answers your question. Animated Alex, I'm glad the trailers are a bit more hyped compared to 11A. I would agree, but I would say it's too late. They should have started teasing something pretty earlier. It's way too late. It's like they released the first main trailer like maybe 2 weeks before. To be fair though, they did release like a teaser type of thing right after the previous episode ended, but there's just not been a lot of promotion, not a lot of things like that. Like they usually do character portraits, all of these crazy stuff, like a poster. They did release one, but they usually do like a couple. Also, there's different teases, there's different kind of promotional stuff that they do for each part of the series or seasons. In this case, part, but usually like first half, second half. But they haven't done that for season 11, which is the final season. You would think that they would promote this season 20 times more because it's the final season, but we haven't seen anything remotely close to them promoting this season more than before. It might even be less. Like they might have been promoting this season way less than all the previous seasons. Epic Zombie Killer, do you think they should adapt the events of Last of Us 2 in the shows, second season, or do something different? I did a video on this where I predicted like how the season's gonna go. I think season 1 is gonna have most of the stories from the first few chapters of part 1 of the game, and I think depending on how much original story they're gonna add in, they might reduce that even more. But I think if they don't put a lot of new original stories in there and just focus on the main stories from the game, the first season of Last of Us, it's probably gonna go from the beginning all the way to around the midpoint of the story in the game, where the story shifts from being Ellie and Joel to, spoiler alert, Joel getting injured and Ellie having to survive on her own, running into a couple people, and all of the stuff that happens after that. So I think that the first season is going to be just that, up to Joel's injury. And then the second season, I think the first part of the second season is going to tell us the rest of the story from season 1. Again, depending on how much original story they add in, it might shift around a little bit, but it's going to be that entire story, like for the rest of the first game. And then I think they're going to bring the second game into the second season, but not in the way people think. I think they're going to do a lot more setup for the connective tissue between part 1 and part 2. We did see that, obviously, but it felt rushed. And I think more so in adapting stories from part 2, they're gonna add in more original stories and kind of flesh out the characters and the stories before they get to the meat of the story. I feel like they jumped to the meat of the story way too quickly in the second game, which they could have polished a lot. And I think that they're gonna fix that or address that in the second season of the HBO adaptation. Margot says, I'm looking forward to the new show coming out. Telltale's one. Wonder who's going to play Clementine, her brother and Kenny. I didn't even know that that's going to become a show. Is it? That's interesting. I always thought that they're going to bring it in maybe to the show, to the main show, or Fear, or Tales of the Walking Dead. I didn't know it was going to be its own show. Animated Alex, actually, just to go back to your question, I'm also looking forward to it. If they are doing a show, I hope that they, because obviously that's not the type of story that you could adapt exactly. You know what I mean? Because of the type of game that it was. So they're gonna have to not remix it, but they're gonna have to expand it quite heavily. The characters are also always gonna be there. Obviously, the main story is gonna be there, but the in between is gonna change significantly, I think. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that as well, if that's in the works. And obviously, we're gonna react to it if it comes out. I don't know if we're gonna cover it like we do with The Walking Dead, but definitely a reaction at least. Animated Alex, could you imagine if Rick's group constantly separated in The Walking Dead? It would get old very fast. Did I miss a question? Was that in part of a different question? Doesn't look like it. Could you imagine if Rick's group constantly separated? I mean, they did a lot of that earlier on, and people got sick of it. So they had to kind of think of more creative ideas to have the characters split up if they had to split up. You know what I mean? It worked sometimes, but for the most part, people were just getting sick of the split altogether. Animated Alex, not gonna lie, he looked like astronaut in the armor. Daryl, yeah, he didn't look like he belonged in that uniform. That's for sure. I would. Here's the thing. I had always predicted he was going to become a soldier for the Commonwealth at the beginning, but to wear the uniform, even I didn't kind of see him in the uniform, you know what I mean? So it did shock me in that way, seeing it in the trailer, or the teaser, but it wasn't like a shock like, oh, he's going to become a soldier. It was a shock like, oh, he looks kind of interesting wearing that uniform. I never kind of thought about him wearing that uniform, you know what I mean? Champion Productions, did you see the Commonwealth School promo yesterday? Yeah, I did. They do release these small promos, nothing to break down. It's just basically trying to show how just like the how just like society, like original society, like what do you call it, society before the apocalypse, the Commonwealth really is, you know what I mean? Those types of teases is cool, but they've been doing a lot of them and it's just too much, you know? They did a lot of it even before 11, so it's just getting a little old at this point. But yeah, I've watched them. It's just nothing to break down or cover on the channel. Animated Alex, it's odd AMC is not promoting the most popular show. Their most popular show. Absolutely. And I don't know what it is. It does, and be honest, does anyone feel like this is truly the final season? Does anyone really feel like that? Because the story if we don't think about the comics, like if we don't think that, or if we don't look at the comics and make that something that we use as a prediction, like we know the comics ended with Commonwealth, so it's going to be coming up, like forget about that. If we didn't have the comics and you were just watching the story, does anyone really feel like the story is going towards an ending? No. Does it feel like they're doing, like promoting the season as if it is? No. And it's odd. It's definitely super odd to me that it's the final season, but it doesn't feel like they're making it out to be the final season. So that's completely mind-boggling to me. Animated Alex, I hope they kill off Abby in the Last of Us show. Well, again, spoiler alert, but if they follow the story, that's obviously going to be coming up, right? If you mean like earlier, I don't think they will. I think, if anything, they might drag that on a little bit more. But yeah, I don't think they're going to kill her earlier, but they're definitely going to do it. I don't think they're going to change that whole story. Epic Zombie Killer, do you think them wanting to go stretch the Last of Us TV show to 8 seasons is a bad idea? They said they're going to do that? Interesting. I don't know where you heard that. I haven't heard that before, but I think it's well, here's the thing. If you mean drag out the 2 parts in the story from the Last of Us video game into 8 seasons, absolutely a terrible idea. And it doesn't even line up, because obviously if you follow my channel, you know that I follow the filming that they do and everything like that, because they did a lot of it in here in the city that I'm in. So I know what they're shooting for the most part, and they have shot maybe 80, or not 80, maybe 60 to 70% of part 1 already. Actually, that's not accurate. Maybe 60% already. So if they go with that pacing, it's definitely gonna be it's gonna be caught up with the story way before 8 seasons. But if you mean that they're gonna have 8 seasons with also original story after the video game stories, I'm all for that. Margot, they have already started filming. Yeah, The Last of Us, absolutely. Like I said, I visited, like I said, they shoot here in the city that I am in. And what was I gonna say? Oh, they're shooting here, and I visited set a few times. I have a bunch of videos on that. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A. My opinion on Clementine Lives comic from last year, and these graphic novels are trash. Well, I didn't read the Clementine comic. I didn't even finish the game, honestly. So I can't really comment, but the story did get a little on the downhill side in the game when I ended it. Like when I'm like, I'm probably not gonna finish, at least not now. So yeah. But I can't comment on the graphic novel and the comic book that you're referring to. Champion Productions. In the promo, we saw the Commonwealth public school, meaning there should be private schools for the rich, and imagine Judith, RJ, and Lydia going to school. Negan as a gym teacher, and imagine a fight. Yeah, I mean, they could definitely do a lot of interesting things with Negan at Commonwealth. They could make him be a gym teacher. They could do all of that crazy stuff that's cool for the core audience. But because it's the final season, they really need to trim the fat and get to the point. Epic Zombie Killer, do you think they should make a Last of Us 3? Talking about Naughty Dog. No, I don't think so. I don't think it... I think... If you're talking about with the same characters, then no. But if you mean like introduce us to a brand new story in that world, then yeah, I'm all for that. Animated Alex, nope, it just feels like another season of the show. Yeah, that I think that's the question to my answer. That does it feel like it's the final season? It doesn't. It honestly doesn't. Champion Productions. If there is a huge time jump in the end of the show, like in the comics, then how would they make the Rick movies? I don't think there's going to be a time jump. I think they're going to change that completely. I've talked about this in my prediction. I think that I did based on the trailer. Or was it the trailer breakdown? I don't know which video it was, but I did talk about this. I think they're going to completely change the ending when it comes to the time jump. They might do a time jump, but it's not going to be the same time jump. It's not going to be the same story after the time jump. Because partially because of what you said, because it makes it really difficult to make it work with the movies and everything like that. Margot, no, they already started filming Telltale. Oh, is that what you meant? Okay, cool. That's cool. That's awesome. Do we know who's playing Clementine? Do we know, like, if they're doing the same story or if it's just named the same? But that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Jermaine Trevino, I think Rick is ready to, or is really going to kill Negan, because Rick did say that one day, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I really think that Rick is going to kill Negan in the future. Well, I don't know if you've read the comics, so I'm not gonna say anything that spoils it for you, but let's just say that where Rick is right now with the movies, it's gonna be tricky to make that happen. At least when it comes to the main show. You know what I mean? Later on down the road, after the season is done, after the series, is done, that might be a direction they go, but at this point, I find it really difficult to see something like that happening. Epic Zombie Killer, Ash, overall, how are you feeling about the TV version of Pamela Milton from what we've seen in the trailers? I think they've done a better job fleshing out the story than the comic did with the Commonwealth introduction. I'm just afraid that they're gonna butcher the Sebastian story. I feel like, and what I mean by that is the Sebastian story. You know, I don't want to get into it, but you know what I mean. Like the story that leads to the ending. I feel like they're gonna butcher that. They're either gonna pick someone that is underwhelming to get that, or they're gonna make it seem insignificant, at least when compared to the comics, or worse, they're gonna skip it, but make the story play out the same way. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the story wouldn't feel the same way unless that happens, the Sebastian stuff. And I feel like, although I think they're gonna definitely do it, I don't think they're gonna do it the same way, which I'm afraid is gonna impact impact the effect that it has and how it fits in the story. Masked Ninja, do you think, or do you see Terry Crews in both Tales and Rick movies? Well, Terry Crews is in the Tales of the Walking Dead. He was cast for that. So I don't think that we can make any other predictions. Like, can I see him playing anything else? Yes. I think he's the type of actor and he's the type of actor that could definitely fit he's definitely a type of actor that they could utilize for the movies. Let's just say that. And even before that, they could bring him in the final season or something like that. But it all depends on what he's gonna do in the Tales story, because there's a very good chance most of the people from Tales are gonna die or not be significant in the universe. You know what I mean? So let's just see. Let's just wait and see. I would love to see him in the movies and even the main show, but let's just wait and see what happens. Animated Alex, imagine they made Negan do stand-up comedy at the Commonwealth. He would be really good at that job. Margot, they released a lot of names who've been cast and not what part they got. Yeah, I talked about that in a video. I haven't, or I don't recognize most of them. Maybe I've seen one or two of them in some other stuff, but nothing major that I can remember. The only one was obviously Terry Crews. But yeah, they didn't say what they're gonna play, which makes sense because one, it might give away too much, and two is that for a new show like this, not a new show, but like a new story like this, it doesn't really matter because we don't know the character, you know what I mean? So there's two ways that it could be, or two reasons why they may not reveal it at the moment. Champion Productions, do you think CRM has an alliance with the Commonwealth? Yes, I think they do. I think it's an alliance that benefits CRM a lot more than Commonwealth, but Commonwealth is just benefiting, like only the higher up of Commonwealth are benefiting from it. Not that that's not the case for CRM, but I think for CRM, their alliance with Commonwealth is strictly to fool them, you know what I mean? And make them seem like they're significant, but keeping them in control, something like that. But I think the Commonwealth leaders think that they're smart and that they have all of this figured out and that they're making this alliance with this group and getting all of the benefits out of it, like the leaders themselves, which is far from the truth, knowing what the CRM is up to and what type of community that is. The second part of your question, if they do, how come Commonwealth has no symbols of the alliance, similarly to how Campus Colony had 3 rings, logo to show they're together? The easy answer is that they don't want to, like the writers don't want the audience to know yet. That's the basic answer. The other possible answer is that whole alliance wasn't real. It was a made-up alliance to keep the others in control. That's the other way you could explain it. The third way is that alliance was for west of the United States, and this alliance with Commonwealth is more on the eastern side. That could be another way to potentially explain that. Animated Alex, I hope we see an old man Rick, Daryl, Carol, Maggie, and Negan by the end of the show. I don't think we will. Maybe a old man Rick, but old man Negan, Maggie, Carol, Daryl, I doubt it. Maybe one of them, but not all of them. I think that's probably being optimistic. Epic Zombie Killer, hey Ash, who do you see getting the Dwight death from the comics, since I see it happening this half? That's another death that's connected to the Sebastian stuff a little bit. I did like a very long video going through how everything is connected and why the story needs to flow the way that it did in the comics. And I've made predictions about who's gonna get these deaths possibly before. My prediction may be different now, I don't know, but right now I think if I'm really thinking about it, it feels like they're giving the Dwight death to, and again, I don't like it, but it seems like it, that they're giving it to someone like Magna, like the Dwight death, and that's because of the way she was talking in the trailer and all of that. It's underwhelming and it's just not the same thing, but it seems like that's what they're doing. And the Rick thing, I'm not gonna go through it, but the Rick thing, I think is gonna be given to, again, I don't like it, but Gabriel or Ezekiel. It seems like they're going that direction, but I don't like any of those getting it. Jermaine Trevino, do you think that Magna is going to die this season? Yes, I do. I think she's gonna die this part of the season specifically, because I've been seeing theories. What's your opinion about Magna? Yeah, I think I just said I think. Yeah, I think she's gonna get the Dwight death this part of the season. I'm not a fan of the actor, of the character. The actor's done a good job, or the actress, but they butchered her character in the comics and even more so in the TV adaptation. Animated Alex, I think they should be careful on how many new characters they introduced in the last season. I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree. The 2 new characters, mystery characters that are going to be introduced, I hope they're significant, because if they're not, it's just a waste, and it's just a, it feels like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Champion Productions. I don't know the answer to this question, but do we know if Commonwealth will be in the Rick movies, going against the CRM? And will we ever see CRM attacking Commonwealth like how they did with Omaha? Not in the first movie, but I think Gimple confirmed that they're connected, or they know about each other. And I think, not in the first movie, but in the second movie, we're gonna get the actual war between these two, not in the first one. Jose Hernandez, do you think fans will be mad if Maggie forces Negan to leave in episode 9 because he's not with the main group in the trailer? I think fans will be disappointed, but I think it's the right choice, especially if they do give Negan his own spin-off. Because in the comics, it happened the same way. So if we think about fans of the comic, they should be predicting this. They should be expecting it. For non-comic readers, I mean, they might be disappointed. They might be mad. But because of the spin-off, I think they're going to be happy knowing that he's going to come back in the spin-off. Animated Alex, Magna got pretty wasted in the show. Absolutely, yes. Masked Ninja, do you think Rick's beard is going to grow bigger and bigger than his season 5 beard when he arrived in Alexandria? We could all hope for that. I think all of the fans want to see that side of Rick again. Not just the beard, but the badassness of Rick from season 5. So I hope we see something like that again. Champion Productions. Will we see the CRM helicopter this season arriving at Commonwealth and talking to Lance or someone else? They added the CRM trailer back to the intro, so I think that means something. I do think we're going to see some CRM references and connections. In terms of seeing the CRM helicopter show up and like a direct cameo like that, I doubt it. But I do think that CRM is going to be mentioned, and they're going to play a role in the story, but I don't think that they're necessarily going to physically show up. Jermaine Trevino, what do you think Madison will do when she finds out from Alicia and Morgan what Victor Strand has done? If they're realistic and keep the realism, she would kill Strand on the spot. But knowing the writers, they're probably going to have Madison try to play Victor and waste time in a way for the story, and then have her kill Strand later on instead of right on the spot. Animated Alex. I think it would be sad to see Negan die and Rick came back never knowing he changed. Yeah, that would suck. That would definitely not be great. But then again, if they follow the comics, it sort of happened the same kind of way. You know what I mean? But yeah. Not exactly like that. Like Negan dying and Rick coming back and whatever. But you get what I mean. Like Rick not fully knowing or not knowing that Negan has actually changed. You know what I mean? They didn't really dive into that in the comics. I'm trying to say that. Animated Alex, what is your favorite season of Walking Dead? At this point, it's gotta be season 5 and 6, with season 6 being number 1. Season 6 and then season 5 and then season 9. These 3. And then obviously season 1 has a special place. So it's always number 1. That's why I never include it, because it's always number 1, because it's just it got us started, you know what I mean? It's just that nostalgia, you know what I mean? So it's always number 1. So not to be too generic, that's why I always leave it out, but it's always number 1. Animated Alex, what is your favorite? Oh, I just read that. Champion Productions. Do you think Army Michonne saw could have been Portland and Omaha survivors, since they had a lot of people, and I'm really hoping to see CRM physically? I think to answer the first part of your question, I think it was the Portland community, and I think they're gonna probably explain what happened to Michonne when Michonne returns to the universe at some point. And yeah, I also want to see CRM physically in the final season, but I don't think that we're gonna see it. Animated Alex, season 5 is my favorite too. Yeah, that season was really great. With the Alexandria stuff, yeah, it was definitely cool. Not as cool as season 6. I think season 6 got a lot of things packed in that I loved. The No Way Out story, absolutely great, with Carl losing his eye and all of that. With the Savior's introduction in a way earlier on, or midway through the season, and Negan showing up at the end of the season. Even earlier on in the season, we got a lot of great stuff between Morgan, who had just returned, and Rick. Great stuff there. And other than that, what else do we have? Yeah, Jesus coming in, Hilltop, loved all of that. Like getting hints about Negan earlier. I absolutely loved everything in season 6. I think season 6, probably when Walking Dead was at its prime, like at its prime. Champion Productions. Wait, she's confirmed to return? Madison? Yeah, she is. Champion Productions. Honestly, do you think we will see CRM? I don't know if it's just because I want to believe that or what, but I just want to see Negan react to seeing the helicopter again. I would love to see that as well, but that's a plot hole that I don't think the writers would want to come back to. They would just want to forget about that. So they would do everything in their power to not have Negan be in a position where he can talk about the CRM helicopter that he saw back in the day. Animated Alex. I think the only problem with season 5 was the Beth episodes. Yeah, I agree with you. The Beth stuff and yeah, the Beth stuff. Yeah. I was thinking, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it. The only bad thing about that season. Champion Productions. I meant Michonne. Oh, is Michonne confirmed to return? No, she's not. But the way they left her story, it's begging for her to come back. Like, they wouldn't leave it off like that if they didn't know that she's probably going to come back at some point in the future. Champion Productions. Why don't the writers want him to talk about see the helicopter again? Because that's a plot hole. Like they should have had him talk about it earlier, but they either forgot or it wasn't convenient for him to or whatever, but it never happened. So it's just a big plot hole that every single fan talks about every time we talk about Walking Dead plot holes. So I don't think the writers want the fans to remember again that they screwed up. Masked Ninja, how do you think Rick will be different in the movies? Because it's been confirmed we'll see a different side of Rick. What will he? It will wait. It will kind of be like movie Logan. I think it'll be a much softer Rick than what we're used to, at least at the beginning. That's what I read out of that. Out of what Gimple talked about when it comes to seeing a different side of Rick. Animated Alex, I think Abraham and Sarah from Fear would have gotten along. Yeah, they are both that they both have some very interesting vocabulary in their dictionary. How long have we been going here? It's been 45 minutes. It's been a great stream, even though it was a surprise stream, so awesome. But we'll go for maybe another 30 minutes or so and call it a stream. I'm just gonna change the battery here. It just keeps flashing in front of me, so we'll be right back. I just gotta get this battery changed. All right, we are back. My camera froze a few times, so I had to keep disconnecting it until it worked. So that's why it took a little longer. Where was I? Champion Productions. Will our characters learn about CRM? And will they learn Rick is there? By the end of the season or series, yes, absolutely. It would be very odd for them not to do that. I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but Cascader? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. They say, hi, how are you? Glad you could join. Animated Alex, I think the show has many plot holes that they're gonna try to ignore. Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure. Jermaine Trevino, I wonder how Judith would react to see Rick again. That would be a cool thing. Like, I would love to see that. That's something I'm looking forward to seeing. Not in the show, obviously, but in the movies at some point. Hopefully. Animated Alex, how will Rick react to RJ? That's another interesting question and something I want to know as well. Like, how would that go? Obviously, it'll be emotional in both cases with Judith and RJ. But after that initial emotion, what's gonna happen? Like, what are they gonna talk about? What's gonna happen in the story? You know what I mean? I would love to see something like that. Champion Productions. Do you think CRM is still in alliance with Portland? They destroyed Portland. Did you not watch the final episode of the series of World Beyond? They destroyed it and replaced Omaha for Commonwealth. And did the CRM know about Commonwealth during the World Beyond? I think CRM knew about Commonwealth during the entirety of the story in World Beyond. They just didn't mention them because it wasn't beneficial for others to know. You know what I mean? Like, they only think about themselves, CRM. Let's not forget that. And because of that, they don't want anyone to know that there's another big community that they could potentially make an alliance with to work against CRM. You know what I mean? Giuseppe De Rosa. Oh, I came in late. Well, we're gonna go for another half hour, so you're late, but you can still stick around. Giuseppe, I didn't get any notifications. Yeah, people keep saying that, and all I say is keep checking to make sure you are still subscribed, first of all, because YouTube keep dropping subscribers for some reason. And also make sure you're still you still have the bell on so that you receive notifications. Even if it's on and you see that you're not getting notifications, press it again, like make the notifications go away and bring it back, like double tap the bell. That's what I mean. Like remove the notifications and then add it again so that you know that at least now you're getting it. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you for joining, Giuseppe. Glad you could join. Animated Alex, Mr. Tardy Boy, Giuseppe. Brian Acom says hello. Hello, how are you? Glad you could join, Brian. Brian, thoughts on Clementine Lives? I haven't read it. Someone said earlier in the stream about that. I didn't even know that it was going to happen and I didn't read it. I don't know if it makes sense for me to read it, not having finished the game, or how that's going to, what the story entails. But yeah, I just learned about that today as well. Champion Productions. Will Walking Dead characters and spin-off characters be in the movies? That's the golden question. I think in the first movie, there's a very good chance no one's gonna show up other than Rick, Jadis, possibly Heath, and possibly Elizabeth from World Beyond. And maybe Dr. Bennett, something like that. But that's the extent of who's gonna cameo, I think. The second movie, that's a different thing. I think the second movie, we're going to see a lot more actual key characters like Daryl, Carol, Maggie even, Michonne. Actually, probably if we're realistic, just Michonne probably. And maybe one other character. But maybe others are going to join in later on in the movies. In the third one, if there's a third one. Brian, no, Portland isn't destroyed. I think it is. From what I remember, they showed that when Campus Colony was attacked, Portland was attacked the same way. That's what I remember. Champion Productions, my bad, I forgot, LOL. I don't know what that was related to. Anyway, Champion Productions. Wait, I don't remember them being destroyed. I don't know, I'm confused. I think they were confused in the series. It was confirmed or revealed in the series finale. I could be totally off. That's just what I remember. Giuseppe De Rosa, is Clementine going to be in the show? Well, someone said earlier on that like the not spin-off, but there's another show for the Telltale's Clementine story that they're filming at the moment. So I didn't know about that. So that's news to me, just like you, Giuseppe. Animated Alex, just imagine what CRM would do to Alexandria. I don't think they would necessarily do anything because they don't see them as a threat. They don't destroy you unless they see you as a threat. Or if there's any benefit for having your community destroyed. And I don't think that's the case with Alexandria. Unless someone knew about CRM that was gonna do something that threatened them or something like that. Then I could see them attack him, but not any other way. Brian, glad Daryl has finally changed his look. Now he just needs that haircut. I don't think he's going to be wearing that uniform 24/7. If anything, he's going to wear it a couple times and be like, that's not for me. So I don't think he's changed all that much. Champion Productions. Walking the Timeline is 12 years in the apocalypse. World Beyond was 10 years. So they didn't destroy Commonwealth during World Beyond. No, I said that they knew about Commonwealth probably at that point. But if your question was if they destroyed them or if they went to war with them, yeah, I don't think that that happened. Because I think if something like that happens, it would impact CRM too. As much as people say Commonwealth is much smaller, that war would still be a pretty intense and significant war. And I don't think CRM can come out of it not being in less power than they were before. You know what I mean? Giuseppe, wait, Daryl actually changed his look? Yeah, in the recent teaser that they released, we can see him wearing a Commonwealth uniform. Very quick, it's like maybe 2-second shot, but yeah. He does change his look a little bit. At least temporarily. Jermaine Trevino, do you play any of the Walking Dead game apps? No, I don't. I'm not really a gamer. The Telltale's game that I even did, I didn't finish it. Ryan. Okay, you were talking to Champion Productions. Whoa. Why did it jump? Animated Alex. He got a CRM armor, Giuseppe. Yeah, that was in the teaser. Brian, Heath is dead. Has that been confirmed? I don't know if that was confirmed. Let me look at the next question. I think these are just others talking amongst themselves. Mask Ninja, who would win in a who would win, a CRM soldier or a Commonwealth soldier in a one-on-one? Probably that's a tough one. I would say it's gonna be a very close fight, but I'm gonna go with Commonwealth because of their uniform. Like, bullets don't necessarily have an impact, or if they do, it's less severe. But CRM soldiers, their uniform, you get shot, you're dead. You know what I mean? It's more a uniform that keeps the walkers away and protects you against the walkers, but not against like a human threat shooting at you, which I think Commonwealth has in abundance. Champion Productions. In a series finale, from what I remember, Iris and our group going to warn Portland. Huh. Now that you say that, maybe they didn't destroy Portland. Because I do also remember that. I think they attacked Portland the same way that they did Omaha, but they didn't destroy them. But they were going to destroy them, and then, yeah, I think you're right. Iris and the others went to warn them. Yeah, that this just shows you how how much I was paying attention to that show. Brian, Masked Ninja, Iris would beat both of them, lol. Not sure what that's all about. Brian, so is Daryl gonna steal a bike from Commonwealth for his sequel? Not definitely, but probably. Animated Alex, so they could have destroyed the sanctuary. Who could have destroyed the sanctuary? I'm lost. Not sure what that question's about. Animated Alex, Ride with Norman Reedus would be considered a Walking Dead spin-off. LOL, just kidding. It's a cool show. I watched a few episodes. It's a cool show. But obviously it's not a Walking Dead spin-off. Brian, why wouldn't Daryl be with Connie? I don't know. The writers don't want it. I don't care. Like, that's not something I really care about, who Daryl is with, but there's a lot of fans that do care. Brian, for Heath, it wasn't confirmed, but I have evidence. If by evidence you mean that still or that shot of the experimentations, like the experiment test subjects, one of them looking like Heath, I don't think that, I've seen that. I don't think that's evidence. I think that's just someone looking like Heath. I don't think that's Heath. If that's your evidence, I don't think that's evidence. I know a lot of other YouTubers are making use of that, using it as clickbait to get a lot of people to click on their videos and portraying it as evidence, but it's not. Like, if that was Heath, we would know. They wouldn't just have an Easter egg like that. We would know. Especially after World Beyond ends. Like, they would, if they don't reveal immediately, they would reveal it at some point. You know what I mean? But they didn't, so I doubt. I really doubt it. King Ken, Negan and Maggie seem more connected in the show than in the comics. Wonder why he doesn't go with the rest. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm definitely intrigued to see what they're going to do with the Negan Maggie stuff. They've been dragging it on for a little too long, but it's definitely fascinating to see their story come to a conclusion. Brian, CRM armor sucks. Yeah, it absolutely does. Masked Ninja, do you think there's another group like CRM or Commonwealth out there in the world? There's definitely other communities, none that are as big as Commonwealth and CRM, in my opinion. Champion Productions, do you think CRM knew about the Saviors? And did the CRM have any outposts in Virginia? Because if so, I don't see how the Saviors didn't find them. I don't think the CRM necessarily bothered themselves with small groups or groups that are not a threat to them and they're just doing their own thing in the area that they're in, unless they're threatening them or they have something that the CRM can use. They would just leave them alone if they're not doing anything to threaten the CRM and if they don't have anything that CRM wants. And I think that's what happened with the Saviors and Hilltop and Kingdom and Alexandria and all of them. Because they were definitely around when the war with the Saviors was on. Because Rick saw the helicopter, the Jadis and her group were communicating and trading with them, so they knew about the people there. Or the groups there. They just didn't bother themselves to do anything because they were insignificant to them. Brian, Commonwealth is definitely a threat to the CRM. Well, the current Commonwealth is not. I don't think. But when the Commonwealth goes through changes, they definitely would become a threat. I'm going to go through the questions quickly because there's a lot more questions coming in and we're only going for another maybe 20 minutes. So I'm just going to do rapid fire Q&A from this point on. Animated Alex, CRM lost to a cannon in Fear. The armor ain't that tough. LOL. Yeah. That was overkill though, but yeah. Brian, do you think final Rick movie should end with Rick ending a story to his grandson Carl Jr.? You mean like the comics, right? That's a little cheesy, I think. A little cheesy. I'm hoping for a better ending. For a more original ending. Mask Ninja, Commonwealth armor looks like it can stop high caliber rounds, while CRM armor looks like standard bite-proof armor that is just clothing. Yeah, exactly. King Ken, I think it's crazy Kelly and Connie both still alive. They make it to the Commonwealth, so I don't see them dying anymore. Unfortunately, I agree with you. I think there's a good chance Magna might die, and maybe Luke. Luke is alive, right? I think so. But is Luke alive? Yeah, Luke is alive. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I don't think Connie and Kelly are gonna die. I would like them to die, I think, or one of them at least, because I feel like from Yumiko's group, no one's died. Makes no sense. Not one bit. Animated Alex. Also, CRM gets owned by a bunch of kids who didn't know how to kill walkers. Not a good look for them. Yeah, that's true. That's a little bit of bad writing, in my opinion. But yeah, I do see what you're saying. By the way, before we end the stream, I had to slow down on the videos a little bit last few days because I'm not feeling well. I'll be... What happened there? I'll be getting tested to see if it's what we're all thinking, but I have some of the same symptoms, so we'll see. But I wasn't feeling well, so I haven't been doing a lot of videos, but we'll come back to more videos in the next few days. The last couple of videos that I posted, some of those were recorded earlier, so that's why I could just pump them out. I haven't recorded anything new for maybe last 3 days, other than that teaser that I did yesterday. But yeah, we're gonna come back to more frequent videos and reactions, especially in the next little while, in the next few days. Jermaine Trevino, who do you think is the most dangerous of them all, aside from the walkers? Negan, Jadis, Victor, or Troy? Otto. Who is the most dangerous? Troy, Otto. Oh yeah, Troy. Okay. You chose good characters to put in the mix. I think not Jadis. Definitely not Jadis. The Jadis we see now, though, in the World Beyond, maybe you have a point putting her in. I still have to go with, if you mean more dangerous, like unpredictable and someone you can't trust, I would go with Victor Strand. Like, Negan, I think, if he makes alliances, he's not going to break the alliances. Unless it's something significant. You know what I mean? Jadis, same type of thing, but I don't think she's as dangerous. Like, physically dangerous. Like, she's not a tough survivor. Troy, he's cuckoo. He's crazy. I would say Victor Strand still. Victor Strand. Only because Troy, you could kind of see his soft side or soft spots that you could make him vulnerable and manipulate him. But with Victor, I don't. Victor is just a crazy, crazy, dangerous dude. You can't trust him. He doesn't have a truthful bone in his body. Brian, I have other evidence, actual facts. Send some of that to me somehow, or share it somewhere so we can take a look. If it's actual facts that I agree with, I might do a video on that. Or if it's something that I can at least stand behind to an extent. If it's completely bogus, then I'm not gonna do a video on it. But if there's some good evidence there, then yeah, I would definitely do a video on it. Champion Productions. Why didn't Jada's tell the group after the Saviors War about CRM, since she wasn't even part of them yet at that point? Another plot hole. Another plot hole. But maybe you can explain this one by saying she didn't want that side or that truth to come out about what she did and what she was involved with. You could explain it that way. Animated Alex, I meant CRM could have killed Negan. The Saviors caused their community as a threat. Well, their community is a threat to other small communities, but they don't know about the CRM. They're not snooping around. They don't necessarily have something that the CRM want. So I don't see there being any benefits for CRM killing every one of the Saviors. You know what I mean? Like, there's no threat, immediate threat there. Champion Productions. In my opinion, if there were two people as large as Commonwealth or CRM, then I would say it's surviving governments from different countries. Yeah, absolutely. I was just talking about the United States. I think in the US, those are the only big communities. But outside, there's definitely more out there. This keeps jumping, so I keep having to find the question that I leave off with. Champion Productions. I'm pretty sure CRM armor are better than the Commonwealth's, even if they don't look like it. I'm pretty sure it is. They don't have better gear, weapons in general, and the blade on their rifle. Their weapons, I think, is better than the Commonwealth's, but their armor is not. I still don't think that their armor is. I think it's more bite-proof than bulletproof. King Ken, hope you get better. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Animated Alex, uh-oh, Ash, have you been bit? You didn't see it. It's not on screen. It wasn't on screen, so you never know. But yeah, I wasn't bit. Champion Productions. If Rick is a son, or not son, if Rick is a non-prisoner at CRM, why hasn't he visited Alexandria? It is because he's not high enough in the Civic Republic to make those demands. Do they not want Alexandria to know about CRM, etc.? I think all of that is true. And also they are using his family as leverage. Like, he may have tried to get close, but CRM, if they find out, his family is gonna be destroyed. So Rick, he's just not in a position to be able to contact his family in a way that doesn't get the CRM to notice and possibly cause a massive risk to not only his own family but the community, Alexandria, and all of them. So I think it's a combination of all of those things why Rick hasn't returned. Mask Ninja, do you think Commonwealth are working on a cure like CRM? No, I don't think so. I doubt it. Highly doubt it. Champion Productions. During the Savior War, were the Saviors actually larger than Commonwealth at the time? No. They only had like maybe 200 soldiers, only soldiers, right? And maybe 100 regular people. Commonwealth, isn't it a couple thousand? It's way different. It's way smaller. Would they be as large as Commonwealth if they didn't lose? No, I don't think so. I think the type of community that was, they would always not be able to thrive into a good community. They might be a good military community. Not military, but you know what I mean. Like a fighter community, but nothing more than that. Nothing even remotely as close to CR or Commonwealth. King Ken, I'm gonna head out, Ash. By the way, any more videos coming out today? No more videos today, but this week probably another reaction and maybe one other Walking Dead video. And then next week we'll be back with 2 reactions a week. And obviously when Walking Dead is back, that I'll do the videos for that. Oh, and also that also counts as a reaction. Like the Walking Dead reaction is the 1 reaction per week, or it's part of the 1 of 2 reactions per week. So I'm gonna continue on with that trend where 2 reactions a week, and yeah, it'll be just random reactions. I used to like ask what reactions I should do, and there was also a time when we had like strict reaction schedule, but at this point I'm just gonna do random reactions, like whatever I have or whatever I've watched that it's ready, I'm gonna pump those out. But 2 reactions a week. And yeah, but going back to King Can, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed this stream. Animated Alex, always fun to see flashbacks of when the apocalypse started. Yeah, definitely. And that's why initially Fear the Walking Dead was so cool, because even though they skipped a lot of it, what they did show, I was definitely loving. Masked Ninja, if we see Pamela Milton in the movies, will we see her in the 2nd or 3rd? I don't think we're gonna see her in the movies. I think she's probably gonna have the same fate as the comics. What happened to her in the comics? I don't remember. I think was she imprisoned? I think so, something like that. If not, that's probably what they're gonna do in the TV adaptation, or just kill her. Animated Alex, what if Negan won the war? I don't think, as far as the universe, anything would change. It's just that probably Rick and the others would have died. Saviors would be controlling a big chunk of that area. Not anything that would be as large as CRM or Commonwealth, but a pretty good size. And yeah, I don't think anything significant would have changed in the universe, other than obviously none of the stuff that happened after happening. Champion Productions. We are 10 more minutes, and then that'll be the end of the stream. Champion Productions, do you think CRM possibly has other aircrafts, boats, or other weapons? We haven't seen which we will see in the movies. I think so. I think they definitely have helicopters. They might have boats, like ships, things like that. I don't think they have planes, but they might have small planes. But yeah, we're going to get a lot of that answer in the movies, obviously. Animated Alex, that love for Fear is long gone by now. LOL. Yeah, absolutely. Champion Productions. Is it possible some government military survived on the bunker or aircraft carrier that the CRM wiped them out, or they joined the CRM? And is CRM a situation of the government, continuation of the government? I think a lot of the military personnel and even government personnel did end up at Commonwealth, at CRM, but I don't think that you can necessarily say that CRM is the continuation of the government. but I do think there was probably a good chunk of military personnel and government personnel that ended up at CRM in some way, shape, or form. Animated Alex, I think Negan, you have to recruit more people and eventually start to expand the sanctuary. Yeah, I think he would have had to, after the war, find other groups to rely on, just like he did with Kingdom and Hilltop. So I don't think it would have been easy after the war for the Saviors. Alright, we'll go for another 5 minutes and that'll be the end of the stream. So if there's anything that you want to ask, any rapid fire questions, even more rapid fire than the last few minutes, let me know in the chat and I'll answer it, and that'll be the end of the stream. Champion Productions, do you think CRM have been overseas and have outposts there? And will they have, or will they be the ones bringing the fast zombies to the United States? I think so. I think there's definitely a connection to France that was teased at in World Beyond. And I think that's definitely the only way for the fast zombies to come to North America from where they are in Europe. Animated Alex, I'm gonna go Ash, see ya later. See ya, thank you for joining, hope you enjoyed this. Champion Productions, it would make sense if United States has the most communities and people since Europe has the fast zombie variants. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But here's the thing with the fast zombies. We don't know how widespread it is. We know they've seen variants, but how widespread is it? You know what I mean? That's another thing that we don't know. Champion Productions, I assume it's across all of Europe. Yeah, it is across all of Europe by that, like by how widespread it is. What I mean is, like, is it just particular areas, or are they everywhere, like the fast zombies? Because if they're everywhere, then yeah, it's tougher for communities to thrive. But if they're just in like certain areas, and there's certain areas that are safer, then you could see how partial communities could form in that areas. Champion Productions, bye now. Bye, glad you could join the stream, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to join our community. Mask Ninja, what do you think Daryl will do if he sees a CRM helicopter when he's on a supply run? How will he react to their evil plans, destroying a bunch of communities? I don't think he would be a fan. I think he would approach it the same way that probably the same way that others who have gone against CRM would approach it. But I think with Daryl, he would want to look at the outcome and the consequences and really plan out his attack. If he feels like he could do anything, because if it's that large and he feels like he has no power to do anything, maybe he can't really see it in himself to do it. But if he sees potential allies, groups, large groups that could help him, I think he would want to plan out the attack and end it and get rid of the CRM. Champion Productions, I don't know if I'm correct, but I think France created the virus, since the guy at the end of the world beyond said, you started this and made it worse. I assume he means made it worse by the fast zombies. Did they say that? I must have missed that. I think they did say the variant started here, obviously, but I don't think they said that I don't think that quote was there. They did put on the wall something like the virus started here or something. So if that's what you mean, then yeah, I agree. But if you mean someone said it, I don't remember that. Champion Productions. I don't know. I don't really see CRM as necessarily evil. Well, they're more evil than most of the communities that we've seen, because they have larger negative plans for everyone else other than themselves. Champion Productions. Yeah, I remember he said that Walking Dead Explained YouTube channel also mentioned it. I'll have to go double check again, watch that scene again to know for sure, but I don't remember it at this point. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. We're gonna have to shut it down. I'll catch you in the next one. I don't know when the next one's gonna be. Probably another surprise one. I don't think I'm gonna necessarily plan these streams. I'll do my best to let you guys know, like maybe a day in advance, but most of these streams are probably gonna be surprise streams instead of planned streams, but we'll see. But yeah, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one.